We move now to the A final of the Schoolgirls Coxed 8, racing for the Sydney Cup. The current holder, St Catherine's School. In lane 1, Loretto Tarak. In lane 2, Pymble Ladies College. In lane 3, Queenwood School for Girls. In lane 4, Walford Anglican. In lane 5, MLCQ. In lane 6, Geelong Grammar. In lane 7, Furbank Grammar. And in lane 8, Friends.
So 4 states represented here in the Schoolgirl Coxed 8 for the Sydney Cup. The current title holder, St Catherine's, did not qualify for the final. Over on the far side, Loretto Tarak, their coxswain in the warm-up this morning, was apologising to the crew for a bit of an errant course and said, I'll get it right for the A final. And here it is, a chance to get it right for Loretto Tarak on the far side of the course. But Pymble have taken it out very hard. They were rode through by Walford in the semi-final, and Walford now just starting to creep up alongside them. A very strong crew from Walford Anglican out of South Australia, and they're now just starting to edge their bow in front from Pymble Ladies College. Pymble have had a lot of tussles with Queenwood, who are in the grey boat alongside of them in New South Wales this season, and Queenwood coming out on top on all but one occasion, and they're now finding themselves with a few seats to make up if they're to keep their strong record racing against Pymble intact. Furbank Grammar are in 4th, followed by MLC School Friends from Hobart, Tasmania, going along well in 7th place. And in 8th place is the combination out of, over on the far side of the course, Loretto Tarak. So Walford Anglican, as we saw in the semi-final, very, very strong through the middle 1,000 of the race. They've now gone out to about a third of a length advantage over Pymble Ladies College, who are holding about 3 seats advantage over Queenwood School, who are in 3rd spot. Queenwood School, very, very powerful crew and coached by Adam de Koning and Kieron Glynn. And now just starting to move their bow up alongside that of Pymble Ladies College in the race for 2nd spot. But Walford Anglican out in front. Meg Dewars, Kirsty Pennell, Charlotte Hall, Ella Grummett, Amy Seed, Lavinia Prince, Matilda Young, Caitlin Nicholson, Mia Gowland steering, and David McGrath and Georgia Litt are looking very, very strong indeed. They just have that great cruising speed through the middle of the race, which sees them just able to come from behind and just start to move out to a margin that is now starting to look pretty threatening to the other crews here that are trying to get somewhere close to being able to row them down in the last 500 metres. So Walford Anglican clear, and Pymble Ladies College still narrowly over Queenwood. Furbank Grammar is the best of the Victorian crews as they come through the 1,500 metre mark, just ahead of MLC from Kew in Melbourne and Geelong Grammar School, and then it is back to Friends and Loretto Tarak on the far side of the course. But Walford Anglican still in the box seat with just 400 metres left to cover, and Pymble Ladies College and Queenwood School having a great race for 2nd place, and Furbank Grammar just starting to sneak their bow up and into the mix here for the medals, and Methodist Ladies College perennially strong in this event in the centre of the course, coached by Alison Crowe, are now just starting to find their finish and get a good decent overlap with Queenwood and Pymble Ladies College. Geelong Grammar in the yellow shell back in 6th place, and perhaps with a little bit too much to do here in this last 250 to 300 metres. The head of the field, Walford Anglican, that great cruising speed through the middle of the race has seen them move clear and seen them to move within a grasp of a national title here in the Schoolgirl Coxed 8. They lead Pymble Ladies College, still with a narrow advantage over Queenwood, and Queenwood throwing everything at them here in this last couple of 100 metres. And Methodist Ladies College coming home very, very strong and ahead of Furbank Grammar, who are back in 5th. Geelong Grammar are destined for 6th. But the head of the field, Walford Anglican, are all set to be national champions, and the South Australian School will take out the Schoolgirl Coxed 8 for the Sydney Cup. Queenwood coming home very strongly over the top of Pymble Ladies College. They claim the silver medal. Pymble get the bronze. Methodist Ladies College claiming 4th. Furbank Grammar 5th. Geelong Grammar 6th. In 7th place, the Friends School from Hobart, Tasmania. And in 8th place, Loretto Tarak. But a fine win to Walford Anglican in the Schoolgirl 8 Championship of Australia.
The results of the A final of the Schoolgirls coxed 8. Walford Anglican taking out first position and the Sydney Cup. In second, Queenwood School for Girls. In third, Pymble Ladies College. In fourth, MLCQ. In fifth, Furbank Grammar. In sixth, Geelong Grammar. In seventh, Friends. In eighth, Loretto Tarak. Winning time, provisionally 6 minutes 45.02. The margins 2.72 and 0.82. The presentation of medals for the Schoolboys Coxed Quad Scull Championship of Australia. The medals will be presented by Reinhold Barchi, Life Member of Rowing Australia. Third place and bronze medalists, Brisbane Grammar School. Tavis Reeves. Gleb Kuznetsov. Nilaro. Their stroke, Logan Ulrich. Their cox, Sam Hurst. The crew was coached by Scott Rowe. Second place and silver medalists, the Southport School. Isaac Mybus. Max Cossil. Cormac Kennedy Leverett. Jake Heck. The crew was coxed by Zach Baltus. Gold medalists and Australian champions for 2017, Newington College. Alexander Potter. Alex Nichol. Richmond Sear. Their stroke, Harry Crouch. The cox, Charlie Nicholas. The crew was coached by Richard Wern and Richard Roach. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate our 2017 Australian champions and medalists in the Schoolboys Coxed Quad. We now come to the A final of the Schoolboys Coxed 8, racing for the Barrington Cup. The current holders, Shaw School. In lane 1, Xavier College. In lane 2, Geelong Grammar. In lane 3, Scotch College Victoria. In lane 4, Geelong College. In lane 5, the Shaw School Crew, stroked by Tom Galloway. In lane 6, the Shaw School Crew, stroked by Tom Woodworth. In lane 7, Melbourne Grammar School. In lane 8, the Southport School.
So we're about to get underway in the Schoolboy 8 for the Barrington Cup. And the crews that we have: Xavier in 1, Geelong Grammar in 2, Scotch College in 3, Geelong College in 4, Shaw number 1 in lane number 5, Shaw number 2 in lane at number 6, Melbourne Grammar School, the winners of the repechage yesterday, in lane at number 7, and the Southport School, second in the Head of the River in Queensland, in lane number 8. And the defending champions are the Shaw School crew, who are there in lane number 5. They've got 2 boats here qualified for the final. Their second 8 is the crew in lane at number 6, and they've been pushing the first 8 all season, and they're out by a seat and a half on their first 8 here in the early stages of the Schoolboy 8. A good form guide as the New South Wales Championships back in February, and Melbourne Grammar School were victorious there. They were able to get out and put Shaw under some pressure in the early stages, and were really moving then, and Scotch College were second behind Melbourne Grammar School. And the Scotch College crew out of lane number 3 moving along very, very nicely indeed. Tom Woodruff has been at the helm there for quite a number of years, and with a great deal of success, the psychology teacher who is in charge of the crew in the white shell and the red colours towards the top of the screen. So Shaw School perennially strong in this event. Their tactics are normally either to blast out in the first 500 or make a really big push in the second 500. And when they do get beaten in this event, it's because crews challenge them in that first half of the race. And now we're seeing the Southport School pushing very strongly on this side of the course, and that is without their star Cormac Kennedy Leverett, but the 8 is all about the crew, not about the individual. And they were first through the 500 metres from the Shaw School in second spot. Scotch College from Melbourne in third, Melbourne Grammar fourth, Shaw number 1 back in fifth place, Geelong Grammar 6th, Geelong College 7th, and Xavier in 8th place. So Southport School being a bit of a surprise packet here. They were comprehensively trounced by a number of these crews at the New South Wales Championships, so they have certainly found some form on this side of the course in the early stages, coached by Duncan Free, Olympic gold medalist in the pair in 2008. And that's the crew: Frankie Moroney Vita, Bill Donaldson, Tyler Wright, Harry Cox, Dougal Coleman, Kyle Lowe in the crew for Cormac Kennedy Leverett, and Harry Smith, Jake Jones, and Jack Caskey, the coxswain of the crew, and now Melbourne, or the top crew from Melbourne Scotch, making a bit of a push in this second 500 metres, and Shaw trying to go with them. Likewise, Melbourne Grammar School. So the ones that we've suspected were going to be fighting it out are now coming to the fore in this second 500 metres. Scotch College, 2:53.99 through the halfway mark, and just 0.39 back to the Shaw School, and less than a second back to Melbourne Grammar School in the yellow boat out of lane number 7. Southport are still right with the crew from Melbourne Grammar School, coached by Tom Abramovsky. And then it is across to Geelong College next in fourth, followed by Shaw number 2, Geelong Grammar over in lane number 2 are back in 7th place, and Xavier over on the far side of the course in 8th position. So Scotch College, Harry Isles, Max Cooper, Mark Russell, Marcus Emmett, Charlie Miller, Thomas Mackey, Angus Emmett, Lockie Murchie and Harry Gill in the Coxon Street, and they're holding around about a third of a boat length over the Shaw School in second spot. Shaw School with 2 Australian junior representatives from last year, Jackson Kench and Pasha Bevan in the boat, and they're coached by David Jennings, who has done a tremendous job at the Shaw School over quite a number of years. But it is Scotch College that seem to have the good mid-race speed as they head up towards 1,450 metres covered. And Shaw School in second spot. And in third place is the crew towards this side of the course, Melbourne Grammar School. And then Southport starting to really drop back and come under fire now from the second of the Shaw boats, and also Geelong College in the centre of the course. So Southport have really started to pay for the pace in which they took out this Schoolboy 8 national championships. But at the head of the field, Scotch College are out to a lead that is looking very dominant here. They're out to 3/4 of a boat length over the Shaw School in second spot. And Geelong College having moved up into third now, ahead of Melbourne Grammar School. So Geelong College showing their form from the heat in the back half of this race as they now move themselves up into a medal spot. Melbourne Grammar School back in fourth place, and they're then followed by Southport, Shaw number 2, Geelong Grammar, and Xavier College over on the far side of the course back in 8th position. But Scotch College, their great morning continues. Winners of the Schoolboy 4, winners of the under-17 8, and the Schoolboy 8 is certainly theirs for the taking as they lead the Shaw School coming into the last 120 metres. And Shaw in second spot, Melbourne Grammar fighting with Geelong College for the bronze medal. But at the head of the field, Scotch College, as have done quite a number of times in recent years, set to take out the Schoolboy Championship 8 of Australia for the Barrington Cup. So Scotch College, national champions. Second place, the Shaw School, nearly a length back. Bronze medal very close between Melbourne Grammar and Geelong College. Perhaps the Geelong School just edging out Melbourne Grammar. We'll await official results. Nearly every bit as close between Geelong Grammar and Shaw School for 5th and 6th. And in the race for 7th and 8th, Southport faded badly, and Xavier placing 8th.
The results of the Schoolboy Coxed 8 A final. A win for Scotch College Victoria. Second, Shaw. Third, Melbourne Grammar School. Fourth, Geelong College. Fifth, Geelong Grammar. Sixth, Shaw. Seventh, the Southport School. Eighth, Xavier. Time for that race unofficially, 5:51.62. The margins 3.16, 2.96, 0.89. The presentation of medals and the Sydney Cup for the Schoolgirls Coxed 8 Championship of Australia. The medals will be and cup will be presented by Matt Favier, Director of the Australian Institute of Sport. Third place and bronze medalists, Pymble Ladies College, Sydney. Hannah Westhuizen. Hayley Cowell. Eliza Johnson. Eliza Entwistle. Sophia Carmody. India Thompson. Rachel Balcombe. Caitlin Stowles. Their cox, Alison Campbell. The crew was coached by Jeff Patterson and Simon Pennington. Second place and silver medalists, Queenwood School for Girls. Charlotte Fife. Gabby Agnew. Ellie Clubb. Sophie Houston. Amelia Johnson. Jess Robinson. Gabriella Chubb. Their stroke, Ella Menzies. Their cox, Talia Barnett. The crew was coached by Adam de Koning and Kieron Glynn. Gold medalists and Australian champions for 2017, Walford Anglican School. Meg Dewars. Kirsty Penhall. Charlotte Hall. Ella Grummett. Ain Seed. Lavinia Prince. Matilda Young. Caitlin Nicholson. Their cox, Mia Gowland. The crew was coached by David McGrath and Georgia Litt. Ladies and gentlemen, the Sydney Cup will now be presented by Matt Favier to Walford Anglican School. Please congratulate our Australian champions for 2017 and medalists in the Schoolgirls coxed 8.
And a cracking Club Women's 8 coming down the course. Sydney Rowing Club have led for the bulk of this race, and Banks certainly aren't letting them move away with it. They are coming very strong in the pink colours in lane number 3. And Melbourne University have been very strong in the second half of this, and the University of Queensland, who just paddled home in the race for lanes to save their energy for this one, are back in 4th place. But it's Banks and Sydney Rowing Club, pink versus blue, and it is Sydney Rowing Club with a very slender advantage over Banks Rowing Club, and they will retain their title that they won last year in 2016. Sydney take out the Club Women's 8, stroked by Susie Deer. Second to Banks, third to Melbourne University Boat Club, and fourth to the University of Queensland. UTS in 5th place with Hallie Chapman on board in the 6th seat, the world junior champion from a number of years ago in the single scull. Great to see her returning to racing. And the assistant coach of the New South Wales Lightweight Women's Quad and ANU, they place 6th.
And the results of our Club Women's Coxed 8 Championships: a win for Sydney Rowing Club, 2nd Banks, 3rd Melbourne University Boat Club, 4th University of Queensland Boat Club, 5th UTS Rowing Club, and 6th ANU. So we've received some very exciting news in the final of the Schoolboy coxed 8. The judges have had a look at the video of the crews coming across the finish line. Whilst Scotch College were clear winners and the Shaw School were second, there was a tie for the bronze medal between the Geelong College and Melbourne Grammar School. On the course now is the final of the club men's coxed 8. Again, the current title holders are Sydney Rowing Club. This year, in lane 1, Toowong. In lane 2, Swan River. In lane 3, UTS. In lane 4, Sydney Rowing Club. In lane 5, Melbourne University Boat Club. In lane 6, Corio Bay. In lane 7, Banks. In lane 8, Yarra Yarra.
And they're making their way through the halfway mark, and UTS have just pushed ahead of Sydney Rowing Club by the narrowest of margins, 0.03 seconds at the halfway mark. Melbourne University are in third place, and in fourth over on the far side of the course, Toowong. They're then followed by Corio Bay, and then Yarra Yarra, and then back to Banks and Swan River at the tail of the field, but UTS in the lead. And the UTS combination out to about a third of a length now, advantage over Sydney Rowing Club. Sydney looked very dominant in the race for lanes as they cruised down, and Melbourne University were working hard, about 5 points higher, just to go that little bit faster than them. The Melbourne University crew with a very experienced Gary Butcher on board, Jonathan Hookway, world junior champion in the coxless pair from quite a number of years ago, and Tisan Koo, who's making a welcome return to the coxswain seat for Melbourne University Boat Club. They're coached by David England, and in third spot, but it's UTS that are now stretching it out to about half a boat length. They've got James Waldersey on board in the 7-seat. He's was part of the New South Wales Penrith Cup crew last year that placed third, vastly experienced oarsman, and now they're just starting to sneak out a little bit of a margin, taking a seat every 2 or 3 strokes from Sydney Rowing Club in second spot. And Melbourne University are certainly hanging right with Sydney, only at about a quarter of a length back in third spot. In fourth, we have the crew from Toowong over on the far side, and then back to Corio Bay, Yarra Yarra, Banks and Swan River in 8th place in this Club Men's 8. A relatively new addition to the Australian Rowing Championship event list. It was won last year by Sydney Rowing Club. They dominated the club events, but it's UTS here that are currently leading. Paddy Holt, George Finlayson, Zach Whitehead, Josh Stubbs, Wilson Kearns, Henry Lees, James Waldersey, Marcus Elster, Tim Morrison Coxian, coached by Tim McLaren and John Smythe. And UTS still with a nice advantage coming into the last 250 metres. It's stretching out to 3/4 of a length from Sydney Rowing Club, and Melbourne University are throwing everything at Sydney Rowing Club in an effort to try and get their bow up level with them and get into the silver medal spot. Toowong on the far side of the course with a little bit to do if they're to try and get themselves a medal. They are clear of Corio Bay and Yarra Yarra, certainly giving Corio Bay plenty to think about on their bow side. Corio Bay on lane number 6, Yarra Yarra in lane number 8. But Melbourne University finishing this one off strongly. They've drawn up level with Sydney Rowing Club, who are trying to find a response. UTS will be the Club 8 champions for the men for 2017. Melbourne University pinch it from Sydney Rowing Club. They moved into the silver medal spot with just 3 strokes to go. Sydney Rowing Club bronze, 4th to Wong, 5th to Corio Bay. Just ahead of Yarra Yarra in 6th place. 7th will be Banks, and in 8th place, Swan River.
Before I move to the results of that race, a call please for Brighton Grammar. Brighton Grammar School, we need a representative please to come and see Andrew Guerin at the judges box. A representative from Brighton Grammar to see Andrew Guerin at the judges box. Thank you. The results of the Club Men's Coxed 8 final, a win for UTS Rowing Club, 2nd Melbourne University Boat Club, 3rd Sydney Rowing Club, 4th Toowong, 5th Corio Bay, 6th Yarra Yarra, 7th Banks, 8th Swan River. Provisional time for that race, 5 minutes 58.98 seconds. The margin, 2.26 and 0.2. The presentation of medals and the Barrington Cup for the Schoolboys Coxed 8 Championship of Australia. The medals will be presented by Kate Palmer, Chief Executive Officer of the Australian Sports Commission, accompanied by Sally Capp, Director of Rowing Australia. In third place, and a dead heat for the bronze medal, Melbourne Grammar School and the Geelong College. The Geelong College crew of Thomas Page, Bentley Fitzgerald, Ian Bell, Carey Foley, Jack Thornton, Nick Kemp, Oscar Maloney, Lachlan Sutherland. Their cox, Edwina Dury. The crew was coached by Andrew Cleary. The crew from Melbourne Grammar School, Sebastian Francis, Alec Rose, Tom Hooper, Mitch Hooper, Harry Fox, Isaac Sanderson, Fergus Hamilton, Joe O'Connell. Their cox, Max Howitt-Ross. The crew was coached by Tom Abranovsky. Second place, and silver medalists, the Shaw School. Fergus Ellis, Zane Carboni, Tom Anderson, Zane Kosovich, Oliver Mackay, Pasha Bevin, Jackson Kench, Thomas Galloway, their cox, Ben Booker. The crew was coached by David Jennings. Gold medalists and Australian champions for 2017, the Scotch College Victoria. Harry Isles, Max Cooper, Mark Russell, Marcus Emmett, Charlie Miller, Thomas Mackey, Angus Emmett, their stroke, Lockie Murchie, their cox, Harry Gill. The crew was coached by Tom Woodruff. The Barrington Cup will now be presented by Sally Capp. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate the 2017 Australian champions and medalists in the Schoolboys 8. The presentation of medals for the Club Women's Coxed 8 Championship of Australia. The medals will be presented by Andrew Gearin, Rowing Australia Life Member and Director of Rowing Australia. Third place and bronze medalists, Melbourne University Boat Club. Georgia Lenton Williams. Samantha Caday. Helena Mileo. Charlotte Wirtz. Astrid Melton. Mila Marston. Beth Cooper. Olivia Honore. And their cox Lachlan Goller. The crew was coached by Bert Cocu and Annabelle Eaton. Second place and silver medalists, Banks Rowing Club. Bianca Litchfield. Poppy Cook. Meg Maitland. Alice Han. Kiara Jackson. Bronte Evans. Alex Conway. Thea Adamson. Their cox, Charlotte Lawrence. The crew was coached by Nicholas Mitchell and Mary Ann Moore. Gold medalists and Australian champions for 2017, Sydney Rowing Club. Lara Campbell. Brianna Caputo. Madison Brown. Madeline Farrar. Candice Williams. Tessa Mapplebeck. Emily Partridge. Their stroke, Susanna Deer. Their cox, Millicent Cheetham. The crew was coached by Lachlan Carter. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate the 2017 Australian champions and medalists in the club women's coxed 8. We're doing lunch now and then the men's 8.
They're all. And
Oh, it's because you can't get all the 8.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Ryan's still down there waiting for his 12, 16
I was going to say, so we can't really go to a lunch break.